All right, last one.
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later, we have finally made it to the last COC album currently. We are Old Drunken Discography. I'm Jason. With me is Bill and
Oh, I'm
Tim.
still here.
I flipped it around that time. See if y'all
You
was paying
did. It
attention.
threw me.
Um, yeah, like, subscribe, go watch all the other COC videos we've done. We're
They're
talking.
pretty good.
They're good. Might be a few slaps here and there. But no cross, no crown.
Ooh.
I like that album cover. I like it when a band makes the album look like a old record with the
Yeah, they totally did that. And that's kind of been their vibe the whole time. Like they're very much a modern band as we go through the times, but I mean, really, it's a bunch of just 70s. They're just living in the 70s and that vinyl and analog sound. Just dudes in a room jamming. No trickery, no studio nonsense.
well, Volume Dealer was kind of trickery, wasn't it?
There's a little trickery on that one, but even then, it's still like the mentality's there. And that album suffered from that trickery, so I think they learned their lesson.
Well, what do you think, Tim, of No Cross, No Crown? This is the latest release, right?
This is as of now, the latest release. This is Pepper Comes Back. This is also a return of the Deliverance Wise Blood lineup, which a couple times when the three piece were touring in Europe, Down was also touring and they played festivals. So Pepper would show up and they'd jam, Albatross or Clean My Wounds or, one of the hits that they didn't have to practice. And so that, of course, led to talks of, well, let's get the band back together. And so they did, with the stated purpose of, the nostalgia act of bringing the Animosity lineup worked for them as far as media attention and people just being interested. So why not bring the Deliverance lineup back and kind of live in that nostalgia, but also looking at In the Arms of God, which was the last one Pepper was on. And he's gone on record many times saying that he's a fan of that album and he thinks that there's a lot of really good room to explore there as far as, where to go next. And so I hear both of those albums a lot in this album. The other album I hear a lot in here is America's Volume Dealer, in that they were both kind of written and recorded within the space of a month. They're both super rushed. And I can kind of hear it there. Now, saying that, yeah, it does flow a lot like Deliverance. There's a whole bunch of little instrumental tracks to kind of break it up. But when you get into the actual songs, like Side A, The Luddite, Cast the First Stone, and Wolf Named Crow, were all badass songs. I'll just heavy. They've almost turned into Motorhead at this point, where they're just a heavy locomotive just coming to knock down your door. And then when you get into like Side B, Little Man and Forgive Me, both songs I really like. Forgive Me's got that mean bridge that I love, but they're both very Skinnered. A lot of Skinnered on this album. Nothing Left to Say is all right. It's one of those dirgy kind of ballady songs. Old Disaster I think does sound really good. ELM I think is really cool too. And then, much like In the Arms of God, Side D ends with a little acoustic intro into the banger of a closer. A Quest to Believe, which I don't think is as good as In the Arms of God, but I see what they're going for with it. And then the actual end of the album, which they cheekily call a bonus track, but it's on every release, is a cover of Queen's Son and Daughter, which, if you didn't know that was a Queen song, you would think, okay, it's just another COC song that's kind of cool, kind of not. Not the greatest album closer. So why is it here? But that's the thing. It's not the album closer, even though it is. And it shows how like heavy Queen actually was back in the day. I think a lot of people forget that.
I thought
Still
that
with John
was
Custer, and ultimately this is going to be Reed Mullins' swan song. The Righteous Fool album did come out after his passing, but this was the last album he was on that was released in his lifetime. I saw them twice for this cycle. The first time was with Reed. It was actually like that last week he was in the band, and admittedly he was off. Um, but I'm glad I was there, especially considering that he's no longer with us. The last time I saw him was last year with John Green on drums. Got to meet him, and he was a super nice dude. Yeah, last year they toured with the Melvins in Ministry. I wasn't missing that bill. Like just top to bottom. Let's go.
that sounds
Uh,
like a Tim's Woodstock right there.
it kind of was, and it's really funny because Ministry just put out a new album, and Pepper Keenan's on that. And the Melvins album that's coming out in like 2 weeks, the second drummer is Roy Mayorga from Ministry. So you can tell all three bands were just hanging out, having a great time together on that tour. And yeah, all three bands killed it. It was awesome. Um, but yeah, the album, like, I like it, hashtag it. In fact, I fucking love this album, but it does feel a little formulaic to me in its design, and it does feel a little rushed. I'm looking forward to the next one that, like I mentioned in a previous video, they're bringing Stanton Moore back, and they're actually writing the songs with him. So unlike In the Arms of God, where he just kind of went in and did drums for him after they were all written, they're now writing with Stanton. So I think that's going to be really exciting musically, and I also think that it's going to be a pretty heavy album thematically after losing Reed, because since day one that was the dude that kept this band going, and yeah, not the place I would start, for what it is though, which is a band 40 years into their career. Like you could have a lot worse stuff out there. I think they maintain that they just do whatever the fuck they want whenever they want, and it's, if it's not for you, it's still gonna rip. It's still gonna have like their sound. It's still gonna be good. It just might take you a minute to pick up on it. And yeah, obviously I've had the least amount of time with this album. Um, every time I listen to it, I love it, but it does, like, I mean, I won't spoil it anymore for the rankings. It's a good album though. A good album.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because I was gonna chalk it up to Discord or discography for fatigue, but I was not feeling this one. The Novus, they love their instrumentals. It was short.
Well, and you know where that comes from is Tony Iommi. Sabbath loved that too.
Oh,
Yes, they did. Back to the Sabbath.
the Luddite. My notes just
It
say
always goes back
heavy.
to Sabbath, my friend.
Cast the Stone was decent. No Cross, another instrumental. Wolf Named Crow, interesting drum patterns throughout. Little Man was eh. Matres Diem, another instrumental, really. Forgive Me, finally some energy. Forgive Me was good. Nothing left to say. Nothing new.
Yeah.
Sacred. I can't even with these instrumentals. Old Disaster was good. That was another like Soundgarden-y. It wasn't sludgy, but it was heavy and good. ELM was great. No Kraus, No Crown. What with little lyrics there were great, but it might as well have been an instrumental because the music wasn't interesting and the vocals were barely audible. A Quest to Believe, though, that picks it back up. There were some tempo changes, quite a lot of tempo changes. Some I liked, some I didn't. Son and Daughter, I fucking like that fucking Son and Daughter. I think that was their best closer out of the last 4 albums.
Well, okay.
The guitar shit at the 3 minute 30-second spot was fucking good. But yeah, by this point I was it just felt all the instrumentals.
Yeah, of course. Happens to all of them.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling this one.
I'm gonna piggyback right off of that one. And there are times that this it felt like okay, they're going back to stuff like the deliverance, animosity, some of that kind of vibe and feel. I mean, the 4.5 instrumentals really helped drive that point home. And I said it before. I mean, here's the thing. An instrumental can absolutely help an album. It can help break it up. It can help bring a tone change. It can now it's like, hey, we were singing this. All right, this is gonna be our instrumental tone shift to fall into side B. I mean, they had 2 instrumentals in the first 4 tracks. That's getting motion picture soundtrack.
Well, and you know what that is that's mentally breaking up the digital files into a vinyl format.
Yeah.
You've now got like 4 acts. And yeah, the album was designed to be listened to on vinyl, not streaming.
Is it a 1 disc or a 2 disc?
It's 2.
Was the divide at nothing left to say, or
Yeah, side A is through Wolf Named Crow. Side B is through Forgive Me. Side C is through ELM, and side D ends at Son and Daughter. And they even made an 8-track version of this album. Like you can buy an 8-track cartridge of this.
Do you have the 8-track, Tim?
I do not have the 8-track, but I have the purple vinyl.
Oh, see, I like it when they print a vinyl that matches the album cover.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Like 9, it's a gray. Self-titled's clear.
so following off of Jason, what you were saying with though Son and Daughter, I felt like was a phenomenal end of track. Definitely one of the better ones they've done here at the tail end of their discography. And I was also a little bit worried about discography fatigue, which, especially when you listen to everything multiple times, can definitely ride on you.
Sure.
I mean, there was some stuff I liked, but overall was like it took a lot of things that I didn't like about the early albums and stuck it into a vinyl. I'm like, I don't know if that's what I want.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there was maybe 2 songs I would consider top song contenders on this one.
Yeah.
And Son and Daughter would be one of them.
Okay.
All right, saying that, whose turn is it to guess?
Where's the dot?
I don't have any dots. I need to start putting the dots back. I guess last time. I think it's Bill's turn.
Shit, it probably is me. Let's see here. Let's see.
Mine ain't hard.
It's gonna be above America's, right? Like, but that's gonna be it. Below Deliverance.
That's it.
Yeah. Tim's, I think it's gonna be right below 9. So above Eye for an Eye and above Americas, or no?
Well, I was thinking above 9.
Above 9?
I was thinking above 9, but you might be right.
So not above. It's not going to be above Animosity, though, right?
No.
So above
I
9.
feel bad for having Animosity so low. Like it should be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking to one person who has Blind currently sitting at 8 also. So
No,
I
I
got Deliverance at 8.
understand. I understand.
honestly, that number 8 spot's looking pretty decent when you look at all of us together.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of top songs on those 3 albums right there.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, there are.
All right, so it goes right here.
Yeah, that's where I'm putting it.
All right. And Jason, I'm following same suit as you, right above America's Volume Dealer.
Holy shit, why did it grow so big? It fucking grew.
That's what you said.
Son of a bitch.
That's it, though, guys. We made it through COC. Thank you so much.
We made it. Holy shit. Never thought I'd get so far.
You know, I throw my picks out. Like, I hope you guys are gonna like them, but they can't all be winners. So thanks for sitting through this.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten to the color coding yet.
That's true, but still, I'm just saying. I know this wasn't the easiest discography to get through, and I appreciate you guys giving it the time and chance. That's all I ask.
I will say, out of all of your picks, this has been my least favorite. Like,
Sure.
Typo Negative. We need to get Bill on the bungle train, on the patent train.
Let's do Tomahawk next,
Or if
then.
you get on the patent train, you don't get off.
That is true. That is so true.
So I've got a little bit of color coding to do here. I got some rhyme and reason to my colors. All right, so I'm gonna say Wise Blood is green.
Okay.
Animosity is green. Blind is green. And 9 is green.
Okay.
Because I think that covers the best of every era of COC. And then I'm going to say Eye for an Eye is yellow because it's rough. But if you like Animosity, check out Eye for an Eye. Self-Titled is yellow because if you like 9, check out Self-Titled. In the Arms is yellow because fuck it. It's not bad. Deliverance, I had red originally. This is the one I had to go back to after hearing America's Volume Dealer and being like, Deliverance ain't red anymore. Deliverance actually had like something I liked, stuff I liked. May not be my vibe, but I can respect the Sabbath worship on that one.
Sure.
And these two are red. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this. And this one, it's got some good stuff on it, but like nothing new that you wouldn't have heard on 9 or Self-Titled.
Okay.
That's my color code.
All right. So mine is, of course, Wise Blood through Animosity is going to be green. And then I'll give the rest yellow.
See, that's what makes our show so good. You get all this cool color coding, Excel spreadsheet shit. You don't get that on other tastes like spreadsheets. All right, Bill, what you got?
All right. So this, and there's a reason why I'm about to do what I'm about to do, which, Jason, you may yell at me and go, no, you can't do that. So I'm going to say
You're going to pull a cold quit on me.
probably, but for a legitimate reason.
Okay, as long as you can explain it.
Exceptional legitimate reason, right? So it's going to be Green, Wise Blood Through Deliverance, and also a Green on their self-titled. Reason being that I say their self-titled is a must here because of how much variety it has from their initial albums. You should listen to their self-titled because there will be something on that you will like that you will then go listen to. If you know it, especially what I listed here, I've just got Green for, I mean, you got Wise Blood and Deliverance on there, but I don't have any of their earlier stuff colored currently. That's why I think their self-titled is an essential listen through. It's not as good as Animosity or In the Arms of God.
I'll get behind you on that. I'll follow up on.
That's a good sell.
Yeah, that's a good sell. I'll change mine to match it.
Like, in my opinion, no, it's not as good as Animosity or In the Arms, as I said, but it is a must listen through if you want to get involved in COC or you think you might have interest in it.
It's a solid greatest hits that aren't.
It's not a greatest hits, but it is their greatest.
Yeah, it's like a greatest hits of their sound.
Yeah,
sure.
Yes, I'll give you that. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, and then for Yellow, I mean, now I'm going to kind of follow you guys' suit. So Yellow is going to be Animosity, In the Arms, and Blind.
That is not following Timur. We both have Animosity Green.
Well, and then, God, actually, you know what? Just leave those, and then the last four red. Like I think, Grant. Here's the thing, especially with Eye for an Eye, or Blind. I mean, there's stuff that people might list. I think you could get away without listening to those albums and be okay. But there is stuff you might like on them. It wasn't my cup of tea.
I mean, I would agree with that for everything except for Blind.
Yeah, I would agree with that except for Blind. That's a weird one.
I mean, if that's your opinion and you're entitled to it, so it's cool. But man, you should definitely give that album another chance. It's like there's all kinds of crazy good stuff on there.
I gave it 3 chances.
No, I get it.
Well, you got to give it a 4th because it's in the meat grinder for our Album of the Decade series.
Don't remind me.
I've actually started my playlist. I have a question for Jason when it comes to 90, but we'll get there.
At least it ain't me.
All right, well, that has been our rankings for Corrosion of Conformity. Stick around. We're doing top songs next. We each get 7 plus a bonus.
Sweet.
And, yeah, next week, what are we doing next week? Fucking Cinderella. You talk about a slap. Yeah, we're like COC. Don't expect shit from us. You don't know what the fuck we're going to cover next, so.
Gypsy Road, don't take me home.
What's after Cinderella? I can't. Alice in Chains? I don't fucking remember. Subscribe, and you tell us down below what we did next. With that, be safe. Make good decisions. We love you, Taste Like Music.